It's Hero Homecoming Week. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett here on the Holliday Eagle Football Show, right here on S2S Sports Network, part of L4 Media, as the Eagles come out of the bye, and they've got homecoming against Snyder this Friday night, and then next week, we start district play. Oh, I'm so ready. Nothing against homecoming and your last non-district opponent, but as Grant and I always talk about on Sideline to Sideline, the show that you can hear that talks 3A, also talks 2A and 4A, but hey, I led with the 3A because Holiday's 3A. But man, at this time of year, this is the only time I envy the bigger classes because most of those are already in district, at least 1 weekend. Some are at 2 or 3 weeks in. And the non-districts are fun, but I'm just itching for the games that really count. Now, for this game, it counts. It's Holiday. It's homecoming. You want to win this game. And I'm going to tell you what. The Snyder Tigers, man, they're a solid team. You're going to look at their record, and you remember last year, but this Tiger team is big. They're athletic. They're a little angry at where last year ended up. You remember 2 years ago they played to the region semifinals, and they were replacing a lot. But I think they thought last year would go a little different. And after starting out 2-0, they then had like a 5-game losing streak, and they were able to get into the playoffs. And then they got upset by Ferris, 31-21. I was at that game, and so I think this is a Snyder team that still has that chip on their shoulder. Their 2 losses this year to Canyon Randall, 31-0. Monahans, 43-22. Monahans is really, really good. The Randall game, we do a Canyon ISD show. The Randall game, not that they lost, but they lost 31-0. A little surprised by that. But they bounced back last week, beating Big Spring 56-13. So as always, we're going to be talking to the head coach of the Eagles, Coach Kyle Atwood. We'll talk about the bye week. We'll talk about Snyder, of course, and we'll talk about his first homecoming in Holiday. And we'll do all that when we come back right here on the Holliday Eagle Football Show on S2S Sports, part of L4 Media. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Here at L4 Media, we talk high school football, 4A, 3A, and 2A in Texas. We talk East Texas sports. We talk NFL, guy talk, movie, and booze. We also talk wrestling and so much more. And you can see it all on our YouTube channel at L4 Media Company. Like and subscribe. Terry Bennett back here on the Holiday Football Show. Now joined by the head coach of the Eagles, Coach Kyle Atwood. And, Coach, coming out of a bye, first off, how was the bye week last week?
It was good. You know, we feel really good about getting off the legs of all of our kids, but getting a few kids, fully healthy. Nobody had anything that they just couldn't play through besides our free safety Landry Hutton, who's suffered a collarbone fracture. But the other guys were just banged up, and they were able to continue to play versus Lou and Childress. But to get that week off and lay off of them, give them an opportunity to fully recover and, hit a good hard week this week before we go into district play. But, we felt really good with what we got out of the bye week. We feel really good with where our kids are as far as health goes and where we are mentally and physically, to go to the second phase of this season, which is district play here pretty soon.
Now, as a coach on Friday night when you're off, do you go watch other games?
Yeah, and historically, I've watched games. For the last 17 years, I've always gone. This year, we went to Lubbock, and I did stick my head in and watch a little bit of Abilene High and Lubbock Monterey. But my daughter was running a cross country meet, and I wanted to be there for our boys and our girls. Cross country there in Lubbock at the Lubbock Invitation, which is a really big meet, and so we made the trip up to Lubbock. Like I said, I watched a little bit of Abilene High and Lubbock Monterey. Coach Fulton's a good friend of mine, and so wanted to check out that for a little while, but I wasn't able to see anybody that we would necessarily be matching up with. So, but historically, we try to get around and watch some district opponents. Now, a little different here. We were, open this last week and everybody was playing.
Yeah.
So we had an opportunity to kind of spread out and see some of those games, and then where everybody else is open this week. So I would assume they're all going to be watching us this Friday.
You're going to have 5 other coaching staffs in the stands. When you're watching a game as a not coaching it, are you still coaching in your mind, whether it be high school, college, or pro, or are you still thinking as a coach when you're watching a game just as a fan?
Yeah, it's always in your mind, like whatever the situation is, down in distance and field position, things that have maybe been working for that team offensively or defensively, like, here's what I would do. Sometimes it's similar to what happens. But yeah, you kind of always think about those things, but you also try to put, just be a spectator and watch. And, the guys that are out there coaching and calling that game, they've obviously put the time and effort in for game plan and film study. So they know a heck of a lot more than I do in those situations. So you try not to be an armchair quarterback up there as well. So a little bit of both.
All right. Well, this week it's homecoming for Holliday, your first one as the head coach. You're taking on Snyder, a 4A team, and a 4A team that I think has looked pretty solid on film, especially defensively. What are your thoughts on the Tigers?
Yeah, they're a dang good football team. Obviously we got after them pretty good last year at their place, but they returned. I think they returned nine offensively and 9 or 10 defensively, and so it's a team that has a lot of experience playing together, and they're playing really well this year. And so they're, Coach Wood does a phenomenal job. He got his first head job there at Snyder, and really has had some turnaround figures there. Made the playoffs a couple times. He made a good long run 2 years ago, and so it's a program that's going to come in here and give us everything that we can handle. And so I hope that I hope we're ready for the task and the test there on Friday night. But I feel good about our week of practice. Like you said, homecoming, there's a lot that goes into homecoming, especially in Holliday. My first experience of Holliday Hero homecoming and all that goes into it, and really, really cool events took place last night with some parade, a bonfire, a little pep rally, and then shot off some fireworks at the end of that thing. And then we've got a roundup going on Saturday, homecoming festivities, a homecoming court, pep rally on Friday. So there's a lot that goes on, and it's really, really cool, all the dress-up things, and just so much pride that Holliday takes into everything that they do, but especially into this week's festivities. But at the same time, we're trying to preach to our kids that, hey, there's one task at hand this week, and that's win a football game on Friday night. And so you hope that some of those things that we do aren't distractions, and it doesn't seem like they would be as far as how our practices have gone this week, but you just never know. Some teams will show up on homecoming and play lights out, and then some will let some of those things that transpire throughout the course of the week become distractions and not play quite as well as they should.
Well, and that's one thing that I always talk about with coaches, and we talk about on our shows with homecoming. It's different now. Like back when I played, usually your biggest rival in district was your homecoming game. Coaches kind of got smart, and now usually it's one of your non-district games and such. And it's because of, like you said, the kids who are already always getting pulled multiple ways as student athletes on homecoming week. It's 3 times that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so. Kind of like you talked about when I was growing up, it was always one of our bigger games, and this is going to be a big game for us for sure. I mean, these guys are playing really well. They're bigger school than us, coached well, and so we know that it's going to be a huge task for us. But the only thing that I really wanted as we came in, obviously the schedule was set and some things were already set, was, hey, let's make sure that homecoming's not on a district ball game. Obviously you want to win them all, but it really matters once we get into district play. And so you hate to have some of those things transpire during district and have an opportunity to have those distractions that come along with homecoming during a district ball game, But like I said, everything that's taken place this week has been extremely awesome. Really cool experience for myself and my family, and we're just excited to partake in all the things that transpire here at Holliday.
Do you like having the bye not right before district, but a week before district, so you can kind of knock the rust off against Snyder and then hit Valley View and district play?
I went on a podcast last week with Coach Johnson. Just retired from here. He does a weekly podcast, and we kind of got to talking, and he said that he liked the bye week there before, and then you play a game again before you go back. And I think I'd have to agree with him. I'm excited that we're going to have a chance to play and anything that we lost during that week, if we did get those kinks worked out before we go into district play. The way we've worked it out in the past, whether a lot of times we've been in an odd district. So we've had 7 teams. Our districts, you draw for the bye, and you're going to get it sometime throughout the course of district play. And so a lot of times it's been set for me, but there's been a couple of years that I've been able to put that bye in, and it kind of falls whenever you can find games and not find games. But I would always try to put it right before district if possible, because I just thought, like, hey, you're going to get your legs back under you and go into district play. But, after, visiting with Coach Johnson and then thinking about it and where we're at right now and the progress we made over the first 4 weeks, you just never know whenever you take a week off, how are you going to come back and play following that. And so, I like it where it's at right now. And, we need to get back out there and play again before we go into district play.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español. As always, we want to thank the head coach of Holliday, Coach Kyle Atwood, for joining us here. Last game before district. It's still weird to me, and I talk about it every year with every coach. Next year, you'll hear me ask and talk to Atwood about it too. It is still weird for me I guess officially now, I'm an old timer, that your homecoming games aren't your district rival. I'll be honest, I think it's better that it's not. I like the way it is now. It's tough to think that you'd be playing possibly for the district championship on a week where, multiple players are being pulled, and student athletes are already pulled multiple ways, especially in a school like Holliday where they do so many things. And so for them to be pulled back and forth during homecoming and then, go out and beat your rival and make sure you get into the playoffs, especially back in the day when it was one team in. I do think that it's smarter now and better to have. I think you allow your players to enjoy homecoming a little bit more, be able to be involved in that, and not because it's okay to lose, but it's a non-district game. But it is still odd to me to see homecoming when it's 95 degrees outside. Any questions, thoughts, or comments for me or for Coach Atwood, you can email them to me, Terry at s2ssport.com. And that's going to do it for this week. Next week, we finally get to talk district play right here on the Holliday Football Show on S2S Sports.